I give the codex. 1 minute, please.
Okay. So, ready? Right? Okay, thank you. Okay, so again, good morning to everybody. It's a place for us to be here. So we will start with our presentation for the party, online party of our 10 years of CART. So let me put to share on my screen with you.
Sorry to be late. Hello.
So who is he? Sorry, I don't know who is he. Oh, Tina, welcome. You are too special for us. We are very happy that you are here. So let me back. I have problem. All of this. Okay. I don't know what happened. It is okay. Everything. Okay, so first of all, we'd like to say thanks and welcome to our mentors to be this morning, this evening with us. They are Raimundo Bautista, Professor Mark Kubala, Bernardo Llano, Eduardo Rivera Campo, and Professor Jerzy Top. Of course, all of them are professors. So I say Raimundo, Marek, Bernardo, Eduardo, and Jerzy. So we are very happy that really you are with us. And we like to tell you about the history of this CART. Okay. So this is the origin of CART. This is the idea of three friends, Magda de Klav, Magda and Magda Lemanska. It happens close to 2015. During this previous year, I start to visit to Poland every year, and Magda start to visit Mexico every year. And then always that they visit Mexico, we say, oh, why in the place to have a conference in the seminary, we organize something bigger for many people, and then this is why we start with this CART in 2015. So we have a CART face-to-face since 15 to 19. This is very nice picture for me and for many of us, because in this picture you can see, okay, that's Magda, me, and Diana Abella, and Julian. I think that maybe in this time Julian almost finished, or maybe don't finish the PhD. He was maybe a student. But the most important for me in this picture is the Professor Pierre Duchet. Pierre Duchet spent the last years of his life in Mexico, and when he knows about this our seminary, he started to come to our faculty every week to talk about problems, etc., in the seminary. And when we start with CART, he was one of the invited speakers. And the first talk he gives in English. He participated only 2 times. And the second, he gave his first Spanish conference in our CART. Unfortunately, after this, he passed away, but he was very, very good friend. So this picture is, I like a lot this picture. In this first version of CART, we don't put the name invited speaker. We separate the talk in two types, short and longer. So now with our new version, we consider that this longer talk was the equivalent of invited speaker. Yes. This is very nice, as you see here, the Professor Dino, he participated many times with us in this CART. You like the picture, Dino? It's very nice, yes?
Very
and
nice,
this,
very nice.
Yes, and this is Joaquin, Tay, and another participant. I forget the name, sorry, in this moment, of this Esteban. Make a mistake. So these are from this page. This is another very nice picture of with Magda Lemanska and Julian in one of these years. It is the last face-to-face CART in 19 before pandemia with Magda Detlef, Diana, Abella, Bernardo. Bernardo, of course, is very good friends to CART too. He participated many times with us too. Rocio, that maybe many of you need it. And the reason of these red things is because this picture was taken close to November 2, and in our faculty, our students, the previous day of November 2, look different costume. He has a big party in the faculty, and then sometimes the teacher participate of this. So we don't know about this. We forget, and then so in the last moment we find this very nice red thing, accessory for Magda and for me. And this is the last conference in this face-to-face in the CART. Again, Dino is really very popular. This is very nice to see all. The classroom was completely full of students. So very nice memories. And this is the same day, our last CART face-to-face with Naid. And this is a part of the decoration to our faculty for this day. This is the reason of this. If nobody was in this day in Mexico, I invite you really. This November 2 is very important for us, and we have very nice celebration. Well, and this is the way that we finish every CART before of 2020. In general, after the conference, the last day we have we meet together to take a lunch, to talk, etc. I think that he is Ismael González Llero with Magda Detlef. This is Bernardo, Julian, and another participants. So we had very nice memories of this time. And then the pandemia started. And we have two options. One option is to say goodbye to this CART, but we really love the CART. This is the name. We take a lot of time to decide the name of this. And then we were thinking 2020, oh no, we don't like to lose the CART, so we can continue. And the only way to continue would be online. And moreover, we think that it's time that to have more people in our committee because we are interested that more universities from Mexico and Poland, because this grant for Mexico and Poland, big grant. And then we decided to invite 3 new members to our committee, which was Hannah Formanki from the Lanz University, Julian Rezan from the one Guajimalpa, and Naif from the one Iztapalapa. And then after this, we have, this is the new committee. And this picture is very special too, because there is only one occasion in all of this year that this committee was in the same place at the same time. And it happened the last summer in the conference in dance. And so this, I don't know if we will have to opportunity to repeat, or when we will have to repeat, opportunity to repeat a picture with all the organizer committee. By tradition, when we start, all the members of the committee participate with longer talk, more of one sometimes. So for this reason, this year, we decide that Hannah will be our invited speaker because she has to work with the rest of the organizing committee, so she has to be invited speaker. And for this reason, Hannah is our invited speaker, and no, it didn't appear in the organizer committee, but of course she's an important part of our. So after this, I only can show you this this type of picture. This is, for example, last year, 23, CaRT'23. And this is for yesterday. So I hope that this picture we can actualize for many, many more years. And I think that I finished with this part. So nice, you can continue, please.
I start Magdax.
No, sorry. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I didn't finish. Yes, okay. Let me sorry. Oh my God, I am really, I forget that this is I think that I make a mistake, but no, it was okay. Okay, so I like to finish just, okay, oh my God. Sorry, I was very, I don't know why. Okay, so, okay, I forget the most important. I don't know the pictures. Sorry. So the most important is to say thanks to our 55 invited speakers from 10 different countries during this time. We have a lottery with the organizers, with the rest of the organizers. I don't know if somebody find this 51, somebody win the lottery, because yesterday I proposed a lottery about this number. Of course, many of the our invited speaker participate more of one time, before in the conference face-to-face and after in the online. But I hope this name, I don't forget anybody. So thanks to all of you. And we like to say thanks to our almost 100 participants with a short live talk, video talk, and poster. In general, many of these participants are students to our universities in Mexico, in Poland, and in another place. So this is very, very nice for me when I was checking how much our students are in CaRT'. So they are the double of professor. So this is nice. So yes, now I finished. I like to say in the name of the organizing committee, thanks to all the participants during this time. And now I will start with the celebration to our mentors. Yes. So I will stop sharing, and I think the first speaker now are Magda's. Is okay, Nai? I am. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So I will stop share, and I invite Magda's to start with this celebration.
Okay, so I will speak on behalf of myself and Magda Detlaf about our mentor is Professor Jerzy Top. I just want to share the screen. Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Tak.
Yes.
Yes?
Pełen ekran możesz zrobić może.
Właśnie próbuję.
Ctrl L. Zobacz.
Okej.
Albo to chociaż te boki powyłączaj.
Już, u mnie już jest pełen ekran. Może być tak?
Jest wszystko ok.
Okay, so I would like to say a few words about our life with Professor Jerzy Top. We are two Magdas, Magda Lemańska, Magda Detlaf. And I would like to begin with my first meeting with Professor Top. I met him at Gdańsk University of Technology many years ago, more or less at 1998. And I was just waiting for my friend who was a mathematics student, and she convinced me to go with her to the lecture. And I went to this lecture, and it was graph theory lecture, and Professor Top was the person who led this lecture, and it was about whole marriage theorem. And it was my first meeting with graph theory. I've never heard about graph theory before. On this lecture, I've heard the first time, and it was really amazing and interesting. I could understand everything of this lecture. And at this moment, I thought that it would be very interesting maybe to work with this area. And then after some months, because of my private life situation, I had to change the faculty where I was, and I asked Professor Top about taking me to his faculty, and it was this in Polish, Zakład Matematyki Dyskretnej. I entered to this faculty, and in this way my adventure with graph theory and with Professor Top began. And I was studying physics before, so I had to study 2 years of mathematics, and I studied this mathematics, and I finished with master thesis in 2003, and I was writing this thesis about weakly convex and convex domination with Professor Top as my supervisor. And more or less at this moment, Magda Detlaf entered in our life, in life of me and Professor Top. She entered, and she was very clever student, attending our graph theory seminars. And finally, she also finished his study with Professor Top as a supervisor, having this thesis about bondage number in graphs. And after the studies, Magda began to work at the Gdańsk University of Technology, and we begin to work together. And also, we were we began to work with domination theory, with some scientific things, but we could observe also Professor Top as a very, very good didactic. We could really learn from him how is to be a good didactic. He is really wonderful as a teacher. He wrote some books for students, and these books are really very, very good. Professor Top was not my teacher during my study, but he was my teacher when we begin to work in the scientific things. He can explain very difficult things in really nice and easy way, and going step by step from the very simple things to the very difficult one in a very, very didactic way. Okay. Finally, we managed to defend our PhD thesis. I did it in 2006 and Magda 2015 with, of course, with Professor Top as our supervisor. And not only we were his scientific daughters. Here I have a picture from the slides of Rita. It was a picture from Rita's presentation during celebration of Professor Top's birthday. And okay, I am the oldest daughter, scientific daughter of Professor Top. Okay, I'm Magda Senior, then is Magda Junior, and there are two Joannas, Senior and Junior. In fact, Joanna Junior is older than Joanna Senior, but here it counts this dates of the defense. And the youngest scientific daughter of Professor Top is Monika Rosicka. And here we have photo all of scientific daughters of Professor Top together with him. We spent very nice time on many conferences with Professor Top. I found some photos from some conferences, from some excursions during these conferences. We also spent sometimes on very different meetings with very different people. Here we have the photos from this year when Mike Henning came to visit us, and I managed to make this nice photos. We still work with Professor Top. We work. We meet. We have some live meetings, but we have also, we had quite a lot of Zoom meetings, and here are some photos from Zoom scientific meetings with me, Magda, and Professor Top. And we have also some publications. This publication, we are only two Magdas and Professor Top. And we have also some publication with the other people. We have some things which are sent, and we are waiting for some referees. So we still are together after so many years. And I think at the end, we just want to say thank you for all this time passed together. Okay.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Magda. Very nice.
Well, I should say that I'm a very, very happy person because I have possibility to meet such person as you. Yeah, one Magda and the second Magda,
Eminence.
and other people always. Magda, thank you for everything.
Thank you. It's up to you. Right? Okay, we will continue with. Okay. Unfortunately, Julian has a trip today. It was a little the reason that we have these technical problems today, and he cannot be now in this moment. But of course, he sent a message to Eduardo Rivera, his advisor. So we will hear this message from Julián to Lalo. Thank you. No se oyen ahí. Yo no lo oigo.
No se oye.
No se
No
oye.
se oye. Give me
Se ve bonito como siempre, pero no se oye.
Quizás sea mejor que no se oiga, quién sabe qué vaya a decir de mí.
Déjanos sorprender. We live to surprise, maybe. Maybe he says something intelligent. Nice.
Eso no lo dudo, pero será bonito.
Tienes apagado
The
tu micrófono.
relationship
It's
between
always
an
you.
advisor and a student often lasts for years, and it stays important even after the student finished their thesis. It's like a parent-child relationship that goes beyond the academics and turns into a personal bond and a friendship. And we often call, because of that, our students like academic children and our advisors like academic parents. And this type of relationship is full of support, of teaching, of feedback, trust, scolding, surprises, disappointments, many strong emotions. And it's a very close, lively, and powerful bond, but often goes unnoticed by people outside of this bond. The number of exciting, the stressful and uncertain and sad moments a student and his advisors share, it's huge. And in this context, I consider myself very lucky. I had an amazing advisor whose first words I said to him were, "Can I call you Lalo?" To which he replied like, "Yes." Without much of fuss. Not long after, I started my master's degree with him and later my PhD. And at first I was really nervous because some students said Lalo could be a bit strict and a bit grumpy, but with me, he almost never was, except for the many times I was late to meet him because, as he probably noticed, punctuality is not my strong suit. Well, I could make hours-long video telling all kinds of stories and how amazing, what an amazing person is Lalo. But I want to share 3 moments that really changed my life and that I hold close as available lessons. The first one was when I had finished my PhD and I was looking for a way to secure a full-time teaching position at a university, and at that time there were not many openings and I couldn't see a clear path forward to obtain that position. Then Lalo suggested a brilliant idea for me to apply for the position of the head of the department at the university where I was a part-time lecturer. And the election is by representative vote, and if I won, the university would have to grant me a full-time indefinite contract as per their regulations. To me, it seemed impossible. Who would vote for a professor who has only completed its PhD 4 months ago? But Lalo talked to me and convinced me that I had nothing to lose by trying. and that I might even win if I do a good work plan. And so I did. I participated and I won, and thanks to his brilliant idea, now I have a job, and it's like amazing. The second moment happened during my PhD, while Lalo was on a sabbatical year. And one day I came feeling excited because I thought I had finally proved a result that was escaping from me, and I had been working on that result for some time. And I went to the office where Lalo was, and I started writing my proof on the board, and felt more and more convinced that the proof was correct, as I explained and as I wrote on the board. But when I looked at Lalo's face, his face showed me that he was more and more convinced that I was wrong. And he started asking details and questions, and some small gaps between in the proof. And I said they weren't needed, and he insisted they were. And the conversation slowly started to get intense, and we began raising our voices. It was really slow, but we began raising our voices, and suddenly I snapped out of this conversation and realized I was yelling at my PhD advisors, which scared me a lot. I thought that like this could cost me my PhD, and well, in the end, my idea of the proof was correct, almost correct, but it was really poorly written, making many parts unclear. And once we figured that out, well, I apologized for the heated argument, and Lalo just said, if you think your idea is right, defend it with everything you got, and no matter who you are discussing it with. And that moment really changed how I approach in my research, because when you work with more experienced researchers, you can sometimes feel small, or feel like your ideas are not important or don't matter. And whenever I feel that way, I remember that moment, and I push myself to engage more. And also I encourage my students to do the same, because brilliant ideas can come from the most inexperienced person. And the last story happened during my master's studies. At that time, I had ended a really toxic and painful relationship, and between the sadness and anger and all those horrible feelings that come with a breakup, I fell into a deep depression, and stopped going to my meetings with Lalo for about 3 weeks. And I didn't tell him, I didn't write him, nothing. I shut myself in my room, deal with my emotions, and somewhat managed to get through them. And after those 3 weeks, I was a bit better, and I realized I disappeared like that for 3 weeks. And when I went to Lalo's office, and I was terrified. I was expecting at best a massive scolding for disappearing like that for so much time. So when I go into the office, Lalo asked me, so what happened to you? And I told him a bit about the rough situation I was, and everything I had been through those days. And when I finished, I was expecting there's a hard scolding, but got completely the opposite. Lalo said to me that that's just how life is sometimes, and sometimes you really have bad days, and sometimes the bad days pile up. But there is nothing to do but to go through them, work on them, and move forward. And then he told me, take another week and finish working through those feelings, and we will meet next week to work hard and to make up for the lost time. Next, he stood up and gave me a hug, and I said yes and thank you, and I left his office and broke down crying all the way home. I was really expecting, I was prepared even for uh, some mean comments, some harsh comments, but I was not prepared to hear those kind of supportive words. And I think that moment shaped how I try to be as a teacher, always remembering the person behind this mask of a student who has a life, who has joys, struggles, everything that makes us human, and that sometimes we tend to forget or we tend to ignore. And well, for all that reasons and countless more, I just want to say thank you, Lalo, for everything. I think so much of me is made of what I learned from you, and I know I'm who I am today because I know you. Thank you.
Oh, very nice. I'm sorry, I don't know that I have my audio open.
I guess. Wow. I really thank Julian for his kind words. I must be getting very old because I don't remember most of what he said. What I do remember is his tardiness. He was always late. Always. I mean, always. And but these kind of things happen to me regularly. The time I really exploded and was kind of rude with him about his being late. I think he left the office, and then I said, well, I remember he mentioned something about the metro. So I went into Google, and that day, Mexican metro was broken everywhere. See, actually, he was stuck in the metro for about 2 hours, and he managed to be only 3/4 of an hour late. So, but that's what I remember. But I really thank Julian. He was a very good student. He Well, of the problems I suggested, he tried, but he managed to find his own problem and develop it and get a very nice thesis. Well, actually, two masters and PhD. So I thank Julian, and I give you another hug. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Lalo, as we usually call in Mexico. So I think if I can, okay, is the tour of Hannah. Is correct? Right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So
Okay, thank you. Do you see my slides?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
My mentor is Professor Kubala. He works at Technical University of Gdańsk, but I was a student of University of Gdańsk, different university in Gdańsk. But good to us, Professor Kubala was also a teacher at the university in that time. And he had a course on graph theory. And I attended this course. It was I remember maybe my second or third course of my studies. So it was my first contact with graph theory. I like the topic very much, and I think it lasts. It lasts still. Next time when I met Professor Kubale was master thesis seminar. He was a supervisor of my master thesis. Also, of course, about graphs, about equitable graphs. And I graduated the university. I finished the course, and Professor Kubale was a person who suggested that maybe I should stay at university and be an academic and be a scientist. For me, that time it was very strange, and I didn't believe that it may happen, really. It took me a time to make a decision, but finally he encouraged me and persuaded me, and I make the decision that I'm ready to be academic. Even then and now, Professor is really big person in the as a scientist. Here we have some bibliometry of his achievements. He's an author of over 60 papers with impact factor, and I may say that a few of this number is I'm also a co-author, because when I started to write papers, articles, scientific articles, they were co-authored with Professor Kubale, and I remember that when I sent him the first version of my first article, of course, he reviewed it and he said it's completely bad. You need to write article in completely different way. By step, he taught me how it should be written, and it's also one of points that I'm very thankful for his patience. Professor is an author of 6 books. I think the most important book is that one that I mentioned yesterday in the end of my talk about graph colorings, because I need to say that Professor is very known specialist in graph colorings. For me, it's also important this book. It's in Polish about also graph coloring. Actually, in both, every chapter, every section is wrote by another person, and I'm also the author of one chapter in both of these books. But this one, in the middle, optymalizacja dyskretna, modele i metody kolorowania grafów. The project connected with this book was in the time when I was a very young mother. I had a little baby, and Professor encouraged me not to resign from this project, because it's a very good chance for me to be an author of the co-author of the book. So even although I was a mother and I was on my maternity leave, I was encouraged to write the section, and thanks to Professor's patience, it was possible. So also it's very important for me. Professor is a supervisor of many master theses, master degrees. I don't know the exact number, but there are many, really. He has 22 children, scientific children. I was the 12th, because Professor is also a supervisor of my PhD thesis, also about graph theory, about two models of graph coloring. So part of these 22 has their own children. So we may say that Professor Kubale has scientific grandchildren also. Professor was the person who introduced me to this world, scientific world. Here is my first conference that I attended. It was just after my studies, 1998. Professor is with me. This conference is a Polish conference. It happens every 2 years, when this conference is organized. We attended many times in this conference. It's settled in Zakopane in Polish Tatras, Polish mountains, and professor likes this Tatras very much, and he told me that even he was a student, he liked hiking, so also he liked to attend this conference, and I know that also this year he was attending this conference. We were on many conferences together. Here, professor as a chairman, here with his wife. I met the wife of Professor Kubala, very warm, nice person. Sometimes we traveled with our families to conferences. Here, it's me with my son, a little bit older than earlier when I was writing a book, but here is also professor with his wife, and always very warm people to my family, to my son, to my husband. So really nice memories. Here is also some photos from conference in Malta. This time maybe you recognize here some persons, because it's also our scientific life. Professor Kubiak, with his wife, and Professor Kubicka Ewa, Kubicki Grzegorz. Więc so it was also good time for all of us. And I may say one interesting fact. Probably you know this book, Introduction to Graph Theory, written by Robin Wilson. Robin Wilson is here on this photo together. Thanks to Professor Kubale, I could meet this person. Professor Kubale was person who translated this English book for Polish people, and actually he, I may say, for me, for sure, it was one of first graph theorists in Poland, and he could pass the information from this world of graph theory to the students, to other people and academic. So thank you very much, Professor, for all your time, for your patience, and greetings to your wife. Thank you.
Very nice, Anna. I don't know if Professor Wala like to say something, or we can continue.
I don't know whether professor has such a possibility. He wrote me that he's able to see and hear us, but not to tell something to us. So maybe later, probably he called me.
Something's wrong with your audio.
Okay, so according with our program, the next speaker is Naive.
Hey, thank you. Maybe my presentation is short. Yes. It's a pleasure to introduce the Professor Bernardo Llano. He's a professor of the Universidad Autónoma Metropolitana, Campus Iztapalapa. The Professor Bernardo Llano earned bachelor's and master in Budapest, Hungary, and PhD at UNAM, Mexico. His interesting topics are graphs, additive numbers, theory, and combinatory. He has had the stands at the UNAM, in the University Politécnica of Barcelona, and the Universidad Nacional de La Plata in Argentina. Since I have had the good fortune to know the Professor Bernardo Llano, first like my advisor of PhD, and after with a colleague. I don't know if I start a PhD with Bernardo because I have scared, but after I say yes, when I know maybe my name is particularly strange in Mexico, few times he told me Lupita, because he said that for him it's easier say Lupita to the students. He's an excellent mathematician and teacher, and he's an excellent person, but he's strong-willed. If someone knows Bernardo, they know that he has outstanding personality. He's talkative and expressive. If you work with Bernardo, you know that he likes the writing of articles that could be almost perfect. In his classes, he enjoys give his classes, in particularly when the students make an interesting question. Another things that I talk with Bernardo is when I start to PhD with Bernardo, he take a recess for the sabbatic, and he left the office. And in this moment when I love the coffee, I love the office to Bernardo and say thank you, Bernardo. He has he has a lot of talks, in particular talks about the tournaments, about the dichromatic numbers, about the disconnection cycle, about the I forgot the names, about the colorings, and when he gives the talks, he is very expressive. He enjoy give it, and his hobby is traveling to New York and Paris, and he enjoy eating desserts. And only I say thank you, Bernardo. I end.
Sorry, Nate, somebody interrupt me. So I don't know if Bernardo, you
Yes,
finished?
I'm here.
Yes.
Thank you, Naid. Thank you, Naid, for your kind words and for your emotional words. And it was a pleasure to have you as my student. And we are still working together, and I hope we will for a long, long time. Thank you so much, and thank you, the organizing committee of CaRT, for these many, many, many years of interesting talks and friends getting together in Mexico, in streamings, in every kind of communication. Thank you so much.
Gracias, Bernie. Bernie participated with us many, many times in this art. Thank you. Thank you, Nate. So I see that I am the last. It's true. I love the point. Okay, so it's my time to celebrate my mentor. So I could tell you that Raimundo is maybe one of the most famous, respected Mexican mathematicians in the world for his contributions, the topic of representation of algebras. But no, okay. I want to tell you about the legacy of Raimundo has led me. So let me do Okay, so when I started working with Raimundo, he was director of the Institute for Math Institute at UNAM. So we worked from 7 in the morning until the moment when he started his activity as director. As a result of this, every morning at 10, more or less, I was in the coffee room of the institute, taking coffee, say good morning, everybody, etc. And then I start to work again at 11 a.m., more or less. And therefore, for this reason, I don't know if to say thank you, Raimundo, I look like a lazy student for many people. Yes, they say she's drinking coffee and enjoy that at this. When I give my first talk in English, I was of course very nervous. It was an international conference, and the night before, I showed Raimundo my talk. Yes, he told me that I have to make 1,000 trains in this talk, and I am talking about the time when we use slides. Yes, so we have to write hand to hand this slides. So I didn't sleep that night, make all of this correction. And when I give my presentation, some years later, I know that the people say that I look like a drunk person or drugged person because I really completely lost after this, all of this work. And so after this, I didn't show Raimundo my talks before the presentation, but people never said again that I was drunk talk. Yeah, so it was important. So when Raimundo gets interested in a problem, he's like a dog with a bone. Yes, he doesn't let go until he solves it. That happened with one of them, his most important works, where he solved an important conjecture, finding an example that took him more than 10 years, 10 years to solve. But everybody knows that he's working in this problem for more than 10 years. And this is one of the reasons that sometimes I seem a little obsessive. And when I start a problem, it is impossible sometimes for me to abandon it, no matter how long it takes me. So thank you. Right. So now let me to show you some memories in Mayans. I don't know. Oh, can you see this? No.
Yes.
Okay. So this is very, very old picture. This is my first conference, international conference abroad of Mexico. It was in Kiev in 97. These are Raimundo and me. And it was very nice conference, of course, was the first for me. And I was made my PhD with Raimundo in a topic that where the main school was in Ukraine, in Kiev. And I have opportunity to this conference to meet many of the numbers that I read in papers. I have opportunity to see in this conference. And it was very funny because when was the conference dinner of this conference, the organizer say that any person to each country has to say a discourse, yes, in the conference dinner. And I don't know why, because I think that maybe I was the only Mexican student at the time in this conference. Raimundo decided that I have to to give this speech in English in my first international conference. Can you imagine my English in '97 in this conference was, oh my God, but everybody enjoyed. I don't remember what I say. I don't remember how I say this. But it was very funny because then the rest of the professors to the other countries decided to do the same. And then in this conference, the speech was only a student to all the different conferences. That's very nice. So, no puedo avanzar. I'm sorry, I cannot follow with the. I don't know what happened. Next. Somebody knows how to do it. Okay.
Maybe try full screen, Control L, and then you may use cursor button.
Or just move down.
Oh.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
There you are.
Thank you. So this is very nice picture in Mérida. It was the first joint meeting between the Mexican Mathematical Society and the American Mathematical Society. And I like this photo in particular because here is somebody that maybe any of you, except Mexican people, heard about Raimundo before because he works in representation theory of algebra, but maybe some of you heard about this Jorge Arocha. This is Jorge Arocha, this very nice. Jorge liked to sing and Raimundo liked the music too. I discovered in this conference that Raimundo liked a lot the music too. This is in one conference. The second conference, joint meeting between the Mexican Mathematical Society and American Mathematical Society in, I think it was in Texas or Austin or Houston or I don't know where. Remember, we really look very young.
Denton.
Gracias, Bernie. Yes, Denton, yes. And this is in Germany. This is I am drinking a beer with Raimundo because he was, how to say, I think that Raimundo feel a little bad for something. So he invited me a beer. So it was our second international conference in Germany. And a group of students organized to go to Paris for weekend. Yes? So they will miss the first talk on Monday after this weekend. So I told Raimundo that this is my second time in Europe. I like to go to Paris with the student. I think it will be very nice. We lost only the first talk on Monday, only this. And Raimundo he said, okay, of course you are free to go. Yes, but remember that you are to learn mathematician, not to go on vacations. Of course, I didn't go to this trip, and since then, if I am at a conference and I don't go to a talk, I feel guilty. Raymond, I thought to tell you that this is one of the favorite topics of my psychology, my guilty for many things. So, and by the way, just some years later, I went to Paris on vacation, as you suggest me. So, I think this may be the last. So, I just like to finish to say that Raimundo's first job was in a printing house. So he loves books and good reading. He also loved strict formality when reading mathematics. And several of my works have their origin in the fact that when reading, I have detected errors, small errors, that the authors don't see them. And I think that this is one of the things that you bring me, to have the patience to read really very careful to understand, to try to understand very think any things. So I just last to say that oh, sorry, this is very funny. This is the only picture that you can see Raimundo with sporting clothes. This is incredible picture because it was a conference where the Raimundo's car has an accident, was a big storm. So the raining covered the car of Raimundo with his clothes inside the car. So he has to wait 2 or 3 days that his wife sent new clothes to Guanajuato. So for us, all of us was very funny to look Raimundo with this green clothes because he, in general, he's serious and very formal. So everybody remembered that. Ah, Bernardo is here. Bernardo, did you see Bernardo? You are here with me in this conference. Okay. And so then I like to finish this. It was the last time that I saw Raimundo face to face. It was last year for celebration of his birthday with his wife and another friends. And then after all of this year, I only like to say thank you very much, Raimundo, for helping me to be the mathematician that I am today, for teaching me with your example to respect the time of all my colleagues and students and friends, for all of those hours of discussion, for infecting me with your love of mathematics. Today, I feel very proud to be part of your academic family, and times come again, I will be sure to choose you as my mentor again. Thank you very much, Raymond. Yeah, stop too. So now it's time.
Okay, I can say some words. Thank you very much for your kind words, Rita. I I saw these pictures that you show us. Really, I didn't remember them, but but it's nice to have these memories. You was very good, lively, enthusiastic, good student, and later on, a excellent co-author in a book and several papers. Thank you very much, Rita, for being like you are.
Thanks, Raimundo. Thanks a lot. So it's thank you. So we invited somebody like to say something. Is free? Is the time to say something, or if not, we will continue.
May I?
Yeah.
May I?
Yes. Who is Dino? Yes.
Well, first of all, yes, that's me. That's me. Well, first of all,
no sé si.
maybe my connection is not very well. I hope you can listen. That I'm very glad to be part of CaRT's family. To thank you, Rita, and your co-organizers. It has been always a pleasure and an honor to be in your events. And I'm very glad that you are celebrating yourselves and your mentors. It's outstanding to see you again, and I hope we can do next in presence again, so we can hug each other and have a beer. So thank you for these beautiful events that you organize and to invite me.
Yes, thank you. I see that you would like to be with us in this celebration that maybe is the only card that you are not participant, because you were participant almost in all the previous, but so you have to be in our party. Okay, so I know that it's late, but if somebody like to say something, if not, we can close this card. I don't know. One of the organizer, one of the friends. But no, nobody. Okay, if nobody like to say nothing more, we say again.
Maybe I will add, Rita, if you don't mind. Maybe if you don't mind, I would add that please share to us the photographs. They are beautiful. I would like to have them in my archive.
You like the photographer, the picture? Yes.
Yes, all of them, please.
Okay. Yes, I will send you, of course. Thank you.
Maybe it is a good idea to have the photos connected with CaRT on our drive, and maybe they should be available by the page, from the page of CaRT.
Okay.
Please consider this.
So maybe now we can have a full screen with all of us, and maybe we can take a picture if everybody agree that is here. But I don't know how to do. Yes.
I stop the transmission. Yes.